Look what I put on the mill today. A ginormous Incense Cedar log. Okay, maybe it's not ginormous, but it's ginormous for an LT15 Start. This is the part where the Lucas and Peterson sawmill owners tell me that that's not a big log. We'll give them a moment here to type that out. Helps make them feel better about their purchase. This summer, I'm probably going to wish I had one of those mills. I have some ginormous logs I'm going to have to deal with somehow. Respect to the swing blade mill, but for now, we're going to pay homage to the band mill and once again, push it beyond its recommended limits. It's 30.5 inches by 26-ish inches. This is the large end. On the small end, it's oddly shaped. It's 25 at the widest, 22. Sometimes it's interesting to look at the growth rings. Tells you a little bit about the tree's history. The first few years it was growing moderately decently. That's a technical term. And right here it started slowing way down. Got these really tight rings. Probably because it was competing with other trees. And right here it suddenly speeds up. Maybe a tree fell down by it that was competing with it. Maybe the area was logged then. We go back to growing moderately decently. And right here, something else happened. Probably some of the competition was taken out or fell down. And it started growing faster than ever till it starts gradually slowing down. Probably because the trees around it started growing up and competing with it. Years from now, if we were to cut down one of the trees that was next to this one, we would probably see something like this, because now that this tree's gone, those trees will grow faster. You may notice I'm milling this log backward from the way I usually do it. I usually have the small end on this side and the big end on this side. Since the small end is usually the limiting factor, I like to make my decisions of how I cut based on the small end. But in this case, the large end is going to be the limiting factor because the limits are how wide the mill can cut. I know there are other sawyers who are competent at milling from either end, so it's about time I pull up my own big boy panties and try milling from the big end. Well, let's open this log up, see what kind of trouble we can get into. With a log this large on a mill that small, the potential for trouble is definitely there. This is why I'm milling from the large end, because right away I can see if my blade guides are going to clear or not. Now we still have room on this side, and we may have room on this side. Looks like it will barely clear. To make sure it clears, take a little chip off that corner. This way I can discover there's a problem before I get started and make adjustments, instead of discovering there's a problem when my saw gets stuck in the log at the other end. Get this cleaned up, see if it's worth making slabs out of, or if I just want to make it into lumber. What do you think? Would that make a nice slab? Water test. Now we're close on this side. Definitely too narrow on this side, but only for a short distance because it tapers so fast. This flared out spot here is the part that's in the way, but only about this far, so if we cut this off, that'll help out there. And in the middle here, we're flared out a little bit. I think we might get hung up there. We can solve the problem on this side just by nudging the log over a little bit. Which of course causes more of a problem on this side. The post won't clear it. Now we can see how much of this corner we have to cut off in order to clear it. Hopefully those of you who bought the Woodmizer wide mills are getting a good smile out of this and feeling good about your purchase. Well, that doesn't look too shabby. About 25 inches at the point where I mutilated it with the chainsaw. Talk about good timing. We just ran out of gas at just the perfect point. That 25-inch cut is definitely pushing that 14-horse motor to its limits. And I had just enough in this jug to fill the tank. If I played the lottery, I'd go buy a ticket today. But I don't. I don't know about you guys, but I think there's just something about these big slabs. Something good, that is. Smooth. Take a look at that. Wouldn't that make a nice tabletop? Got the white sapwood, the dark heartwood, wide rings on the outside, tight grain on the inside, one little pecky spot, probably the only pecky spot in the whole log. Then of course my mutilated chainsaw edge. Let's take another slab off and see what we can find. This one looks about the same, only different. Now maybe it's light enough to move so I can flip it over. We ran out of log. It's gone. All that's left is this little pile of sawdust, a few scraps, and some of these boards. These are all from that log and the last two logs. On the big log, I think it was better having the large end on this side. It just made it easier to see the spots where the log was going to be too big and we'd have to do something about it. If the big end's over here, you can always move the carriage down, then check, but then you have to move the carriage down, then check. This way it avoids that. Well, since the log is gone, I'd say it's time to end the video. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. This is the part where the loop... You may notice I'm milling this log Backford. I'm milling it Backford. Backford milling, that's what we're doing today.